when I was 24, I taught in Compton, and there were no white kids at my school. There were two or three teachers, maybe, but that was it. Everyone else was either Latino or African American. And the kids were amazing. They were great, smart, nice, kind. They were just kids. They could have been anyone's kid. They could have been my kid. They could have been your kids. Um, and what happened was the classrooms were incredibly overcrowded. I had my first teaching job without a credential, which is what you need to get in Los Angeles at the time. I was working on my master's degree, and I had 37 kids in my class. 37 little kids, 8, 9, and 10-year olds. 37. And I had never taught a day in my life. And as you probably know now, it's ludicrous. Um, it's just not right. Most of the parents of my children were working 2 and 3 jobs. They were working the night shift. There wasn't really a there wasn't like a lot of jobs that weren't minimum wage because nobody wanted to put money into the area because they had deemed it like basically impoverished and like they wouldn't make a profit. Basically, bottom line is they wouldn't make a profit. It was white supremacy at its most ugly, disgusting. Um, it was it was a horrible thing to do to people, just horrible. Um, Sometimes the kids would come late to school because their parents were sleeping because they were exhausted from working so many jobs, and they had the night shift or whatever the circumstances were. There were a lot of gangs in the area that came in. It was the kind of place where you want the president to come, and you just want to invite him there. I think it was Bush at the time. I want to invite him there for a week because it would forever change his life, and he would never ever vote again to take money away from people who were economically impoverished. He would never do it again because he would realize these are people just like us white folks. There's nothing different about them. They're good people. They love their kids, and they're just trying to make it in an impossible situation that we did to them. We, meaning the white people, people not I didn't do it to them, you didn't do it to them, but the people who came before us chose to make policies basically based on white supremacy. Um, so what happened was I was there during in the time I was there, it was a really bad, just specifically bad time in Compton. My neighborhood in Compton that I worked in the last year had 7 shootouts in a 9-month period, and you could hear the shooting. You knew somebody was, firing a gun. It was terrifying, and the kids could hear it. And basically, they call them code yellows. And what you had to do is you had to duck down and lock your door so nobody would come in and try to like take a hostage or something. And they locked the front door of the school, but it was pretty much open because it was Southern California. It wasn't like an indoor school. So we basically all ducked down until we heard the all clear bell. That happened 7 times in 9 months. Um, it was, the kids, it was like a way of life for them. They didn't know anything different. I would tell them like some places don't really have gangs like this and all and stuff that do shooting, and they thought that was funny. They thought I was kidding. Like they're like, yeah, right. And I was like, wow. A lot of the kids had never left Compton in their lives. They had never been out of Compton, and even had contact with white people. They used to. It was funny the boys especially. They wanted to touch my hair all the time because I think I was like the only white person they'd ever met pretty much, and they thought I had blonde hair and they wanted to touch it, so I let them touch it. I didn't care, but it was unbelievable how sheltered these little guys were.